Hi everyone, this is Adam Blicker, and I have some exciting news to share with you today. After years of hosting the Adam Blicker Show dissecting high performance in tennis, I'm thrilled to announce that I will be releasing a book at the end of this year titled Winning Words: How to Unlock Potential Through Communication. This book is a combination of insights, lessons, and conversations I've had with some of the greatest tennis coaches in the world, all aimed at helping coaches like you and I enhance our communication skills and unlock the full potential of the players we're working with. Now, here's the best part. I want to make this book accessible to everyone, so I'll be releasing it chapter by chapter on this podcast completely for free, giving you the chance to dive into the content and start applying these insights immediately. Writing this book has been an enriching experience for me. I've learned so much throughout the process, and I generally enjoyed it, at least most of the time. If Winning Words is well received, this will not be my last project. I'm excited about the possibility of creating more books, online courses, and similar resources to continue sharing valuable insights and supporting the coaching community. If you found any value in the episodes over the years, or if you enjoy the upcoming audiobook chapters, it'll mean the world to me if you support this project by sharing podcast episodes with like-minded coaches, comment your feedback, positive as well as negative, on social media posts, or if you head over to Amazon when the book is released, grab yourself a copy and leave an honest review. Thank you so much for being part of this journey. I can't wait to share Winning Words with you all. Please ping me on Twitter or DM me with your feedback. I'm looking forward to hearing from you. How this book came about, the initial spark. What would it be like to delve into the thoughts, reasonings, and specific approaches of the world's most experienced and knowledgeable tennis coaches? This question was on my mind in 2015 while traveling with the junior national teams for the Danish Tennis Federation. Seeking answers, I launched a podcast called Dissecting High Performance in Tennis, a crucial component in my development as a young tennis coach. You can tune in on your preferred podcast service for free and listen to more than 100 long-form interviews with some of the world's greatest tennis coaches. Surrounded by tennis coaching legends, I saw how they help tennis players thrive as humans, develop as players, and ultimately perform as competitors in make or break moments. The podcast guest overwhelmed me with advice on coaching principles, technical analysis, personalized tactics, and strategies for integrating sports science into daily training. I quickly realized the challenge of distilling all this knowledge into a single book. At the same time, I was working on the pedagogy section of the Danish Tennis Coaches Education. With a master's in sports science, I dug deeper into developing the module and noticed a gap between the theoretical teachings and practical applications on and off the court. This book bridges that gap. Based on the advice from the podcast, I've handpicked the most valuable and actionable advice with a specific focus on a common thread amongst the podcast guests: communication. This information in this book draws on the experience shared with me by over 100 of the world's most respected tennis coaches and sports science practitioners. It covers what they say, how they say it, as well as the underlying concepts. While I've often taken on the role of the interviewer on the podcast, I don't see myself as an interviewer, but as an experimenting tennis coach. I get excited when I can test and replicate the advice in real-life practices or at tournaments. Hence, everything in this book has been tried and tested and applied to my own coaching journey. This book dives into the art of communication for tennis coaches in an easily digestible format. Some advice will bring immediate results, while other ideas may require time to resonate, leaving you with aha moments. As one of the early podcast guests, Cameron Moore, said, If I knew what I know now, just a year or a few years ago, I would have been able to be so much more efficient as a coach and have had so many fewer headaches. Cameron's words have often rung true for me, resulting in me constantly evolving my practice by learning from past actions where I didn't get it quite right. The incredible individuals I've interviewed have shown me that I was only seeing the tip of the iceberg and how much more there is to explore. They've fundamentally changed my approach and improved my coaching immensely, and I hope this book will do the same for you. Prologue: Overcoming Communication Hurdles in Coaching. Nick, you're too close to the ball. I must have said it 1,000 times to you by now. Or at least that's how it feels. Sounds like a broken record, doesn't it? Do you also sometimes find yourself struggling to get your point across on the court? Some days you're on fire as a coach, and the players you coached instantly grasp what you're saying. Other days, nothing seems to click, no matter how you say it. You have a deep knowledge of the game, yet your players struggle to absorb it. It's frustrating, right? You've got the tennis know-how, but have you ever considered the magic of clear expectations, trust, and relating your knowledge? The power of communication. What if I said that communication isn't some mystical, unattainable skill? What if a few simple adjustments in how you communicate could drastically elevate your effectiveness as a tennis coach? Imagine transforming those frustrating practices into periods of genuine progress. Envision strengthening your bond with players while staying true to your coaching principles and keeping your integrity as a coach. Here's the deal. You got the same tools as a master chef, but your dish doesn't quite taste the same. Why? Because the chef knows the if, when, how, and what of cooking. This book unlocks the if, when, how, and what of communication for tennis coaches, elevating your coaching using the tools you already possess. Your secret ingredient. Now, let's set the record straight. Communication isn't the most crucial aspect of coaching. If you don't know your technique, tactics, or physical and mental aspects, you'll get called out, no doubt. But here's the twist. While there is an abundance of resources on those aspects, there is a scarcity of guidance when it comes to pedagogy, especially communication. Your communication skills are like a secret sauce, an undiscovered ingredient ready to be released. Some argue that communication is an innate skill. But guess what? That's a myth. This book is your gateway to becoming a better communicator and elevating your overall coaching level. So what's in it for you? Here are the 3 steps of winning words. 1. Align. You lay the foundation for lasting collaboration, allowing your messages to break through like never before. 2. Accelerate. You'll know when to listen, intervene, and evaluate to extract learning from every practice. 3. Amplify. You'll master pre- and post-match talks, transforming tournaments into opportunities for growth. Seems too good to be true, right? Skepticism is healthy in this age of information overload. However, bear in mind that the wisdom within this book is distilled from insights shared by more than 100 of the world's most seasoned tennis coaches. To reap the benefits, you'll need to invest time and effort. Reading is just the beginning. You must actively practice your communication skills on and off the court, as well as at tournaments. It's like becoming a skilled chef through hands-on cooking. So what's your next move? If you're eager to unlock the potential of conscious communication in order to help the players you work with, let's dive in to winning words. It's time to unlock potential through communication. Know that throughout this book, I will jump in, providing context, linking insights from podcast guests, with the hope that it all comes together like a completed puzzle. Introduction: Unlocking the power of communication. A personal revelation. In 2013, I had the privilege of interning at the Soto Tennis Academy in sunny Thornton, Spain, where I met Dan Kiernan. Instantly, I was in awe of Dan, not just for his knowledge as a tennis coach, but also for the way players eagerly absorbed and responded to his coaching. His effectiveness on the court intrigued me immediately, leading me to ponder how he could unlock players' potential faster than I could with the same players. Here is Dan's thought-provoking and insightful take on method versus relationship. I've seen some very unusual practice methods, but one woman sticks out, Marion Bartoli. She went on to have great success, and I'll be honest, I didn't study her practice methods closely, but it was straight away noticeable with all kinds of crazy bands and sticks coming from the trees. It got me thinking, is it the method or is it the relationship with her coach, her dad, that worked for her? I'm not convinced that it comes down to the next new method so much. If you have a strong enough trust in the player-coach relationship and the player buys into you as a coach, then they will learn and get better with a bunch of different methods that don't necessarily seem logical or straightforward. I wouldn't go to the extent and say that Bartoli has developed into the player that she is because she has been swinging with sticks from trees while wearing all sorts of different bands. But it leads me to question of just how important the player-coach relationship is in regard to driving development of players. Dan's insights planted a seed in my mind about the crucial role of the player-coach relationship in coaching effectiveness. That same year, I met Juan Veloca, whose story further deepened my exploration of the connection between relationship, communication, and performance. Here is Juan's story. A little bit of a coincidence happened when Flavia Panetta's coach couldn't go to tournaments for 1.5 months. I met her on the airplane. The first week she wins the tournament. It wasn't a huge tournament, but it was a win. The next week in Acapulco, she wins again. She then lost in the round of 16 in both Indian Wells and Miami. Summed up, it was great. Later I got the opportunity to work with Sveta Kuznetsova. In the first tournament, she lost 7-6. In the third against Henan, who was number 1 in the world at that time. Again, I got the experience of being an amazing coach. Sveta and I worked for 3 or 4 weeks, and everything worked perfectly. We then went to the States, where Sveta was the defending champion at the US Open. She had a little bit of an injury in the shoulder, a lack of confidence. Problems started happening. She lost quarters in one tournament and second round in another one. In the end, it was bad, and the relation with Sveta was not great. I came back. Nobody told me anything. So that means nobody wants to keep working, and the relation with Sveta ended. At that point, I still had the mentality that I learned from Pato Alvarez, that it couldn't be because I wasn't a good coach. It must be the player. That was what I learned as a player under Pato. I then started to think about how it was possible that what we didn't work for Sveta. I was coaching the way that I was used to being coached, and the only way that I knew. I started to wonder about when you say things and how you say them. that made me realize that I didn't know what to say. If I had said what I thought, she would not have felt fine. I needed to find another way to do it. In 2012, Flavia called me and asked me if I could work with her half of the year. She had at that point been with her coach for 9 years, and she felt she needed a little bit of a change to help her motivation. I said, for me, it was perfect with 15 weeks. We started, and she had an injury right away. Things started to go wrong. She didn't feel good on the court. I honestly didn't find a way. I knew more or less what I had to do, but I really struggled because I felt like I had no weapons as a coach. There were some situations where I didn't know how to react. I didn't know what to do. After the last tournament that we had agreed upon, she decided that we shouldn't keep working. And I realized if I wanted to get better as a coach, I couldn't keep coaching like this. When I was coaching Panetta and Sueta, I never thought that I was a good coach. But I believed in my theories because I saw how well they worked for Pato. I used to only have one way of saying things, probably the way that I learned from my former coach, which was being tough. Now I think I need to adapt if that doesn't work. If I could go back in time and give myself an advice when I first started out working with Panetta, I would try to have better communication. With the same knowledge and better communication skills, I would have been able to do a much better job with Sveta and Flavia. The player-coach dynamic. My exploration into connecting with players, sharing information effectively, and amplifying their performance led me to a crucial realization. Coaches, much like players, need clear strength to excel. Conscious communication emerged as a key strength, and as I listened back and transcribed all the podcast episodes, I began to wonder why something seemingly straightforward and simple could be so challenging and complex. Here, David Wilson offers his insights into the distinction between a tennis expert and a great coach. At coaching educations, conferences, and various social media, we accumulate information, so we have all the information available and the potential to be knowledge experts. Unfortunately, that doesn't mean that we are all great tennis coaches. You can be the most knowledgeable coach in the world, but if you have no clue how to relate that information to the player in front of you, it really doesn't matter. When serving players in almost any sport, the number one thing that comes back every single time is the relationship between coach and player. In this race to fill our heads with information and to learn stuff, we're forgetting that an essential step in a successful player-coach relationship is how we get on with each other. Is there trust? Are both sides willing to go through difficult times with each other? We can pretend that we're getting along fine, and we can try to like somebody, but you can't fake it over time. Practicing how much, what, when, and how we pass on information to players is a subtle art of coaching. Bridging the gap. In the conversation with Mark Tennant, he eloquently explained the complexity of developing the skill and weapon of communication as a tennis coach by comparing it to playing the piano. Imagine sitting in front of a piano and you see all the keys lined up. To play well, you must be able to press the right keys at the right time to create the desired tone. Now, what a piano player doesn't do is just push all the keys at the same time, nor does he push the keys in a random order. Instead, a good piano player knows which keys to press at which time to make a specific tune. It's a little bit the same with us as tennis coaches. A smart coach is able to press the right key at the right time to make the tune in the player. A question you might ask, as I did with Mark, is how do you start practicing the metaphorical piano? Mark explains. The first thing is to know that you have a piano with lots of keys, each with a different role and tune. You start by learning to play the keys in a set order, producing a mechanical tune. Then you experiment with keys in a different order to create variations or entirely new tunes. Having a simple checklist or score, as it's called in music, helps. It guides you on which keys to press in the right order or which keys to look for to make a specific tune. The AAA framework. This book is divided into 3 parts. Align, which is off the chord. Accelerate, on the chord. And at last, amplify at tournaments. Each section is designed to equip you as a tennis coach with practical checklists to enhance your communication skills. Like a pianist perfects their craft to create beautiful music, we as tennis coaches can refine our communication to minimize those cringeworthy moments, which I confess I've encountered quite a few times in my own coaching journey. The goal of this book is to showcase effective communication strategies utilized by some of the world's greatest tennis coaches. Initially, replicating these methods might seem a bit mechanical. However, the aim is for all to evolve from merely copying these effective communication patterns to mastering them and ultimately developing our own unique styles of winning words. Section 1. Off court. Align. Welcome to the backstage of coaching, where the magic begins before the first serve. Imagine a player knocking at your door, full of ambition and passion. The instinct might be to grab your racket and hit the court, but what if there's a better way? This section unveils the art of laying the groundwork and forging a bond between the baseline. It's about decoding player personas, earning trust, and striking the delicate balance between mentorship and camaraderie. Join the legendary coaches in exploring this uncharted territory of alignment where the seeds of success are sown. The goal of this section is to help you, 1, making informed decisions about teaming up with a player. 2, unlock the key to player buy-in and trust. 3, to discover the person behind the player. And 4, master the delicate balance between respect and friendship. If you're ready to explore the often uncharted territory of alignment, let's dive in.
Thanks for listening to Dissecting High Performance in Tennis. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and visit adamblicker.com for more coaching insights and resources. And hey, if you're looking to sharpen your coaching skills even further, grab a copy of Winning Words on Amazon. The ebook costs the same as a candy bar, so why not skip the sugar and invest in becoming a healthier, wiser coach instead? Order your copy today and unlock the distilled wisdom from the brilliant guests featured right here on the podcast. Together, let's minimize frustration and maximize impact.